Oh, here we go, right? We got it, and that's the thing, and it's over there. Let's head over to this, and then we should be going, right? Hey there, friends. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it might be in your part of the world. You're going to do this to me today. You're going to do this to me today. Are you kidding? Like, I just reset all of that. And we're gonna do this. Okay. Windows sound settings have all reset on me. Yes, there it is. And up there, no, that's right. No, that's stand by. It's such a treat to have to manage and take care of things that didn't change overnight, but for some reason changed overnight. Yep, there we go.
Greetings, my
There we
excellent
go.
friends.
All right. What an intro. How you doing there, friends? Let me say hello to the chat room. They're right over there. We're broadcasting live on Twitch and YouTube. Let me bring up YouTube, make sure that we're saying hello to our friends over there. Because, of course, I'm not ready for YouTube either. No. Here we go. And boom. Fantastic. Now we can see YouTube. Hello there, friends. But there's the chat room. How's it going? Let me catch up with folks over here. Reg9K with the first. Good morning to you. Billy Cool. Hello, hello. C Sharp Titan. I'm doing well. I hope you're having a great evening in Melbourne. Would love to catch the stream the other day, but a bit late. That's okay. There you go. That was an original song, Marataya. That's my theme music that I've commissioned and it was written for me. What do I think of profiles in Visual Studio Code? Asks C Sharp Titan. When would you need to use them? Do I use them? Let me come back to that in just a second. Codebase Alpha, hello. Phil Vesey is here. How you doing? 15:30 in Germany, 3:30 in the afternoon. Happy to see the stream. Greetings. Hope you're having a good one, DJ Deepex. Hello. Must be the 24H2 update. No, I didn't get the 24H2 update. This one's actually still on 22H2, but it got an update overnight because it's Windows 10 and it's and it's not eligible for Windows 11. So, we'll be working on Linux today. Yes. Nate Palm, how you doing there? Yeah, we're doing well. None of my machines are updated to the 24H2. No, this one isn't either. And this machine, the machine that I use for video production, I am on, let me look at Insider Program here. I believe I'm on like the very outside ring, the beta ring. Yeah, I'm on a beta ring for it. So I'm not on release. I'm on beta, not dev, not canary, but beta. So the early adopters to get some of the stuff that's been tested, that's been hardened. I used to do dev and canary a few years ago, but there were too many collisions with Docker and some of the other features that I do want to be an early adopter for coming out of Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code and the like. So I do not take earlier versions of Windows because I want to make sure that those are all working well before I present to you. So Billy's still on 23. So is DJ Deepex. Okay. Busy building a new work laptop, a Surface 6 with an Ultra 7 165H processor and an NPU. Nice. Nice. Honestly, I haven't been exposed. I haven't to an NPU machine. I haven't tried one yet. I understand what they're supposed to do. For me, I'm not feeling it yet. I don't feel the need to have an NPU yet. I'm not at that point in my journey with the AI features where, gosh, an NPU would help me so much. I'm not. It's not something that I feel yet. The stuff that I get done with GitHub Copilot, with Windows Copilot, bounces off the cloud. So I'm like, I don't need it yet. So as a software developer, like, I appreciate the ability to put a language model locally and work with it. It's not something that I is gonna change my work process here in October of 2024. Let me get some music playing in the background here, and we'll talk about profiles in Visual Studio Code. Let me go to the Stream Beats EDM playlist today, and I'm going to scroll down a bit here. Let's go with this one called Bright Times. This is music that's DMCA free, royalty free. Listen to it wherever you'd like. Check it out at streambeats.com. There's all kinds of genres there that you can listen to in the background, whether it's creating YouTube videos, Twitch videos, what have you. Thank you so much to Harris Heller and his team of creators for putting this music together we're listening to today. So let me back up to that question from earlier from, where was it? From, I thought it was, C# Titan asking about profiles in Visual Studio Code. It's a great idea for folks that need to shift between different languages, right? So you're coding with Python, you're coding with C#, and you want to be able to switch between them because there's different configurations that you want for your tab spacing. There's different configuration for the preferences of how you interact and navigate around your files. Same thing with JavaScript and TypeScript. You may even want to change the fonts so that when you're working with JavaScript and TypeScript, you have a font that looks more appropriate for that. I know there's some folks that you like to use script fonts when they're working with that. It's up to you. So there's options there that are available to you when you change profiles. That said, you can also export some of the information about your profiles. They're saved to disk. You can sync those and have those placed appropriately so that when you're on different machines doing different types of work, you have your different profiles available to you all the time. So even when you're doing things on like GitHub code spaces, working in local developer code spaces, you can do all of that and change appropriately between your different configurations. I don't use separate profiles because I'm a dork that just use C# everywhere. C#, Razor, Blazor, HTML. Give me the same thing in all the places. So, and that just feels right to me. Eric with a question here. You have Copilot. I have an old project Python code trying to port that over to C#. Do I know if Copilot is a good candidate to assist in the lift and shift? Yes, it is. ChatGPT, you can buy more tokens that will allow you to analyze and convert more of those files faster. Copilot will be able to look at your entire project and analyze and understand the code a little bit better. So, C# Titan asks, if I wasn't working for Microsoft, what would I be doing? What is my dream job? I'd love to get back into building and managing software as a service. I did that for years and years. As a startup, it was a rush. It was so exciting. Really enjoyed working with a small team of developers and being able to pull together as a team and get stuff done. It was very exciting, very compelling work. That said, though, I got the bug of teaching and helping other developers, which you can't really do in a startup scenario. Like, you've got to pull your own weight. And helping other developers, if you're spending a lot of time helping other developers, that other developer doesn't belong on the team when there's only 3 of you, and it's a company of 5. Like, not going to work out. You can't be teaching, helping other developers when you're talking about a small group like that. So I would go back to leading, inventing, building, and you see me do a little bit of that here on stream, where I'm designing, building applications, maybe not necessarily inventing new applications, but designing, building, tweaking, and sharing those with you on stream. So you guess the NPU comes into its own once we get the local AI models as part of Windows. It's not just as part of Windows, but for applications that start using smaller local AI models, right? Thinking about when the Office applications, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, have, if and when they have AI models running locally, being able to parse and run through things much, much faster as you're working on a document, a spreadsheet, a slide deck, it would be extremely helpful. Copilot being able to summarize things, being able to analyze text that you're working on and give you feedback on that. Tremendously helpful.
Just resubscribed for 53 months. Greetings and salutations.
Thank you so much for the support. Appreciate that. I think there's an opportunity for the NPU to do some amazing things with the browser. Be able to analyze the content that's being presented on a web page, summarize it, or to flag some things as scammy, as stuff that you should stay away from. I think of an NPU assisting with antivirus and malware analysis, being able to do some really, really interesting things there for safety, security reasons. I think of different things that the average person wants to be able to do with a computer, dictating to a computer, being able to get a more realistic voice, reading messages and things back to you, having a local NPU with a language model that's a good size, and on a PC that has a terabyte hard drive, having 10-20 gigs for a large language model that's going to significantly improve your computing experience, I think is a good trade-off. But what is that set of killer experiences? That's where I'm hung up on is, what is the killer experience? What is that gotta have it application feature in computing? And I haven't seen it yet. Dictation works good enough for me, right? But I think there's as a web developer, there's integrations with the browser that could be very interesting to use. Just saw OBS got a push to talk function. What? What do you mean OBS got push to talk? Where do you see that? Push to talk in OBS. That's not new. That's older, but why? Like, my mic's open. Why would you want that? Background noise. Okay. Makes sense. All right. And yeah, there's a push to talk that you can set up. Yeah. And you have to set up a hotkey to activate it and deactivate it. Yeah. And I could see somebody wiring that up to a Stream Deck or to a specific key on the keyboard.
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
Yeah, it's the West Virginia Coal Rush hat. There you go. You install on Linux machines first .NET instead of Build Essentials. Nice. All right. Hey, Warm Peas, hello. Eddie Dre, good morning. Great to see you. I missed... Eddie was doing a DJ set last night, and I missed tuning in. I really enjoy listening to your streams, Eddie. I was watching my Philadelphia Phillies. They fell apart. They fell apart in September and October. The offense just was not there. So many games where they scored 2 or less runs in September and October, and that's not going to win you a championship. And they lost. They lost to their hated rivals, the New York Mets. So they're out of the playoffs now. Eric says, I think the near future trend is going to be developer AI agent assistant is going to allow small teams to get more done. Maybe. I don't see the killer capabilities in there. I feel GitHub get in the way a lot of times. GitHub Copilot get in the way a lot of times as I'm building, working with code. So I need to see a little bit of improvement there before I'm sold. You don't get why they put NPUs on mobile CPUs but not desktop. Facts. Would I say that my tag is an invention in progress? Yes, it is, Codebase Alpha. Yes, it is. And because I have a bunch of things going on right now, it's parked for right now. Yeah, I can't talk too much about it. I did have some conversations while I was out in Las Vegas last month about my tag, and I have some folks that are very interested in supporting and growing my tag. Oh, look at that! Thanks so much. Appreciate you calling yourself out like that. That's great. That's great. Yep, you've already been deactivated. Goodbye. Yeah, it would be nice if it auto-banned those. Maybe that's something we talk about when we get into the chatbot discussion here. Let me continue here. Null Sheffo, hello. Heck Radar. What do I think about Microsoft Access? Does it have a future? I don't work on the team. I grew my database knowledge in working with Microsoft Access, so it has a special place in my heart, that application. I would love for it to have a future. However, I see with Power Platform stuff, what you can do with that, with Power BI and interacting with disparate data sources that Microsoft Access would have done for you. I think I would prefer doing Power BI or Power Apps instead of Microsoft Access and connect Power BI to a local Excel sheet or something like that. I hope it has a future. I don't know. But I think I would start to prefer Power BI and Power Apps over it because of how you can hook up to so many things. Maritalia says, I need to build a small trading app with transactions history, limits, and currency exchange rate hauled from an external API. Where could I get a .NET tutorial? You're not looking for a tutorial. You're looking for a how-to. You're looking for some base information there that's going to build that for you. And when you talk about transaction history, I immediately start thinking about CQRS types of interactions. I immediately think CQRS architecture. That is not a tutorial thing. That you're getting into big architecture discussions there that are going to take a bit of time to understand and grow and build. And additionally, there is a ton of subject matter expert capabilities that you're looking for on that. That's not something, the depth and the complexity of an application like that. Small trading, simple trading, that is not, those words don't go together. Because if there is one group of folks that love scope creep, love it, it's folks in the finance industry. Because they understand, hey, I can just pay for more of this if I want those other features. So I don't have examples for all of those things. We do have examples out there about how to connect to an external API, query that data, and do something with it. But you're getting into some very complex architecture quickly on that. So Code with Sean, good morning. Yeah, there you go, Eddie. Robert Steffen, hello there on YouTube. Good afternoon to you. Hey, Nova Troop, hello. Microsoft Access was good for university projects. It's a good starting place because it puts everything in one application, so you don't have to learn a bunch of different things. You could install one thing and get started quickly seeing how you can interact with a database. It's not bad. I'm never going to say that Microsoft Access is a bad tool. It's a pretty good tool. I think the features and the interactions and the complexity that folks want in modern data snackable applications are better achieved by Power Apps at this point. I don't have the keyboard camera turned on just yet. Postgres, Microsoft SQL, MySQL, SQLite, I think, is really where folks should be learning today. Small little file, running locally. You can connect in and interact with it with just about any programming language. You're then getting immediately into then a multi-tier programming architecture that becomes complex quick when some of those connectivity things to establish resiliency, reliability between your database and your application, those are things that you need to manage and learn about and how they connect and how they work together. That's something that might be a little advanced to dive into when you're just trying to teach the basics of how to work with a database. I was a teaching assistant at Penn State University, teaching all about Oracle 7 back in 1998, and showing folks how to interact with and query a database and load data into a database without any tools except for the at the command line SQL interface was hard. Something like Microsoft Access makes that a heck of a lot easier to interact with. Everyone past 45, no, I don't. I haven't disclosed my age. I have at one point or another, but it's not something that I come on here and brag about. So, the Intel Arrow Lake and AMD Ryzen AI 300 desktop CPUs will have the NPUs built in. Yeah, but what's the killer feature that's going to use that is still where I'm hanging here. Maritaya, I would be looking at, if you're trying to build that type of application, you've got to go learn a little bit of CQRS because you want that transaction history. You're going to want to be able to log events. And that's your transaction history. You're going to want to be able to roll back and forth and see some of that information. That leads you into a little bit of DDD architecture. That's very complex architecture if you're just learning how to code. You're just getting in on that. So I would look at some DDD or CQRS architecture tutorials to get you in that space. You're going to need to learn the subject matter and the financial rules to build around those things. No, they're not specific to the Surface range or Nova Troop. There's many Windows-based laptops that are being built with NPUs across several manufacturers. Yeah, some of the most dangerous words to developers are, wouldn't it be nice? Northwind DB. C# Titan started their work career in Access, Visual Basic, and using Excel with Word and Access. Yeah, there's something to be said about how many careers were built on top of, take this Office document and enhance it. Let's do mail merge with it. Let's automate calculations on this spreadsheet. Let's automatically update content on these slides. Let's make some graphs appear on these slides based on some data we have somewhere else. Yeah. Cut your teeth on databases with Borland Paradox. There you go. Fox Pro. Put that in the same box there as well. Is it Fulama? Sad that SQL Compact database no longer exists. A further development would have been a stronger competitor to SQLite. Sure. But SQLite is fantastic. Like, it's open source. Anybody can build on it, enhance it, fork it, do something else with it. So, yeah. It's not a bad thing. That's a pretty good thing. And there's drivers that work everywhere. Building and developing a new RDBMS is not trivial. Hey, Surly Dev, you're right. SQL Plus for Oracle is tricky. Totally. Oh, and not just developers said, wouldn't it be nice if, and then the variant of, it would be possible. Would it be possible to, yeah. Whenever somebody working around tech uses the words simple, only, just, they're trying to artificially limit specification gathering. We're going to do some specification discussion here today. But those types of limiting words, no. It's somebody making that request doesn't have the expertise to qualify that. So, you used Fox Pro and didn't like it, but you love Paradox. All right. Oh yeah. Where'd it go? No, don't. Right? You're thinking of something like this?
Back in my day, we didn't have fancy cloud services with sliders to add memory and disk space.
No.
New hardware came on a truck, and you needed a forklift to bring it into the office, and it might be delivered on the weekend several months from now.
Yeah, it might. Several months from now. Hey, I need a little bit more processor. All right, get back to me in February. Let's see here. Yep, get off my digital lawn. Absolutely. And that's a points redemption down there. Right? Where'd it go? Get off my lawn. There it is. And I recorded
Back in my day, when I first started writing code, Linux was going to take over the desktop that year.
Yeah, that's right.
And the year after.
Yeah.
And the year after that.
That's right.
What do you mean it hasn't taken over the desktop yet?
Nope, hasn't. Still hasn't. I recorded that 4 years ago. Still hasn't. Hey, Ed, watching from the metaverse. Hello. Ed's watching us in VR. How's it going there, Ed? Heck Radar with the resub.
Heck Ray just resubscribed for 3 months.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate the support. On SQLite, Dan Ross showed you can implement C++ libs. Yes, that's a demo that we showed several years ago. Using SQLite in the browser. But why? Like, why? You can do it. It's a big download. Why? What does that give you? Like, I could see doing that if you have, maybe you have some progressive web app that you want to have run offline. I get it. But like, you're building a simple application. If you've got connectivity, use it. Nico, welcome. Hello. On databases, it's about what your needs are. JSON files, Excel spreadsheets. Absolutely. There's the difference between, do you need a database versus you need a data store. Things like the list of quotes, the John Skeet quotes that come up from the bot. I don't need to store those in a database. They're sitting in a file. The bot starts up, reads the file, parses it, and they're sitting in memory. It's maybe 10, 20K sitting in memory, and it just randomly chooses one and outputs it. Who cares? It's 20 lines, 20 blocks of text. So what? Stuff like that. Like, you don't need a full data store, right? How much do you actually need to read and write to it? If you're reading and writing, okay, maybe you need a database. But if you're just reading, and you're doing the occasional write, So, hey, Robert Steffen, what did you miss? Not much. Old folks talking about, old guys talking about back in my day types of scenario. We had to make our own silicon for our transit. See, that didn't actually happen, Sean. C# Titan says, if I use SQLite database in WebAssembly, is it advisable to encrypt the contents? If you're using SQLite in WebAssembly, the entire thing is sitting on your visitor's machine, it doesn't matter if you encrypt them. Dear Lord, I sound like The Rock. It doesn't matter if you encrypt it. They've got the whole thing sitting there. They can decrypt it at will because you decrypt it when you read it. So anything that you send down, right? Let's make sure we remember this. Any code that you send to somebody else's machine to run, you can't trust. Even though you wrote it, you can't trust because they can modify it. That's right. It doesn't matter what you're thinking. The Fritz says. Okay? Because once you send it to somebody else's machine, they can tinker with it and change it and break it. Have it do things that you didn't expect to do. This is the problem with sending JavaScript applications to other people's machines. It's interpreted code. It's clear text. It's sitting right there. It can be modified. There's no chat interface on the Quest Twitch app. Oh, man, and I wanted to install that. So you have to keep the chat open in an RDP? That's weird. That's weird. And the RDP, we know, is a little bit processor intensive on the Quest. You've heard many a developer go because I can, and they don't work for me. And there's a reaon why. Do I have an opinion on dual booting Windows and Linux on two separate SSDs? Asks Cy Gamma. That's exactly the configuration I have on my K-Focus IR16. There's two SSDs. One is Linux, one is Windows, and I dual boot across them. We're using the Linux disk today and the Linux configuration. I think it's a fantastic option that's available and you can work with. There should be a way from Windows to mount the Linux SSD with WSL so that you can get in and work with your configuration and profile and things that are in the Linux configuration. It's a fantastic option that's available to you, but don't forget WSL, like I said, is out there. You could just run Windows, and when you need that Linux interaction, just start up the Windows subsystem for Linux, and you're off and running, and you still have access. You can run all your Linux apps, even graphical apps, and you have all your Windows apps. You have the best of both running on Windows. So it's not bad. In regards to chatbot commands, the same could be true, depending on functionality. You're right, Eddie. Chatbot commands do get away from folks. Hey, is it Shirsh? Hello, you're trying to learn C#. What should I do to improve my coding skills for Unity? So when you're coding with Unity, it's not entirely C#. There's some things that you don't necessarily do when you're coding with Unity. I would take some time and learn some of the basics of building web applications. Go through some of the ASP.NET Core tutorials that are on learn.microsoft.com so that you can see some of the other ways that you can interact with services like SignalR. So you can have a live connection out to a server and send data back and forth. How you can connect to a database and work with interacting with that. Because some of the things that you learn to do in coding with Unity kind of cut the corners, and you don't see some of those algorithms and interactions with external services. So I would try learning a little bit HTTP clients. I would learn how to go and make requests out to other services. Maybe you want to be able to connect into, you're building a game with Unity and you want to be able to connect in and read and interact with the player's Twitch channel. You're going to need to learn how to make those API calls, how to interact with the Twitch lib NuGet package. So there's options there. There's other things that integrate with other systems that you're going to want to be exposed to that I would encourage you to check out. So, yeah, good luck. It's great to hear you're learning to write games. Please drop back in and let us know how you're doing. Always happy to encourage and share what's going on there. Quest Twitch has amazing video quality, 80-inch fritz. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. You can see I missed a spot shaving. Where? Are you kidding? SQLite is the default repository for Android. Yes, it is. But you can also write to text files on disks as well, which means you could write a CSV, you could write just a text file, you could write JSON files, and interact and read and process those. So, hey, Junie Von Esch is here. Hello. Back in my day, there wasn't Windows and we had to use DOS. Coding to navigate the computer. Oh, my gosh. Yes, that was a thing. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I should find... I had a list of video clips to go get, and I lost it. You don't hear Electron being used as much anymore for desktop web. Correct. So the issue that many folks who were building Electron-based apps... Stefano, hello, welcome. When folks were building Electron-based apps, right? So that's a web server that's running, a little web server that's serving JavaScript to help paint and organize things on screen. But it's delivering inside of a browser framework. So you're quite literally using JavaScript to generate, or TypeScript, to generate HTML that's painting and being rendered inside of a browser, and that browser is called Electron, right? The problem with it is Electron has many security patches that roll out very, very quickly. And if you didn't update your Electron app as those features were being rolled out, if you didn't update so that you had the latest version of all the things, you were exposing a security issue inside of your customers, your users' machines. You see this with Discord. Discord has an automatic update button where it'll automatically download and apply patches on the app for you. Visual Studio Code does the same thing. Slack does the same thing because they're all built on top of Electron. You don't see folks favoring that anymore because it is a known security issue. So, yeah, that's absolutely a thing. It does have some pluses, but it takes work to manage that. And if you're not ready to deploy and patch when those security patches become known and available from the Electron group, you're putting your customers at risk. That's why Microsoft Teams used to be an Electron app, and now it's a native application on all the platforms. That update was made last year. So WSL2 is great. It is. WSL and Docker is the greatest of all time, says Billy. It's pretty good. Mythin, good afternoon to you. Message Hub's kind of like that in Xamarin and Maui. You still need a server that's going to deliver that stuff. With WSL2, you can pull down into Windows and Linux distro through the Linux store. That's right. I thought it was Ubuntu was the preferred WSL. You just want to learn an offline game? That's okay, Shirsh. You still may want to write to a database, right? You still might want to write to a file or read from a file on disk, and learning how to do those interactions are things that you're going to want to make sure you know how to do. Godot has gained a lot of popularity since the integration with C# is also a good option. Godot has picked up a lot of popularity because the folks that were running Unity misunderstood how to manage their user community and made a tragic mistake. The same mistake that the WordPress folks are making right now, where they don't understand their customer base and they're going to get hurt. WordPress is going to get hurt. The time is now for somebody to build a CMS that is free and open source and flexible with plugins to take over WordPress. They're weak right now. Now is the time to act and move in and build something that will take over that leadership and Is that something that SSR Blazor could do? Absolutely. Is somebody ready to build that framework? I don't think so. And it's not Orchard. Orchard is from my last understanding of it, too complex. Octane, too complex. What do I think about an exchanging compressed BSOM with big data chunks between client and server? I'd be using gRPC to be doing that. Eagle Games, welcome. Hello. Your former boss dyed his gray hair black and got instant 10-year discount on his age. Maritaya, when I was a kid, when I was working for an insurance company. I was working in desktop services. I was the help desk, right? I was the guy that answered the phone and helped you reset your password, or came out and reinstalled Windows for you, that kind of thing. It knows this hat. It saw this hat. It didn't pick it up. It didn't bring it in. Let me come back. We had several changes over in leadership, and always the CIO was an older guy in his early 50s, and guy came in and I won't give his last name, but his name was Bob, and first couple months he's working with us, guys, he's got male pattern baldness. He's got hair on the sides, bald across the top. That's fine. Much respect to the fella. And, did his job, knew his stuff, and the team respected him. Fantastic. About 6 months later, he started wearing a toupee to work. You've been working, you're the new boss. You're the boss. You're working at the company for 9 months to a year. So everybody knows you're bald. Didn't just suddenly sneak up on us. We knew because day one you showed up and you had a clean scalp, and respect. No judgment, respect. Own that. But then you started wearing a toupee. What? I don't get...
Throw me a frickin' bone here.
I don't get it. Why? And while it might have been minus 10 years, respect went down also, because everybody's like, are you kidding? So that was absolutely a thing. So let me see here. I think there's a couple things that I can share with you now that have been happening. That are going to be a little bit cool here. Nope. I don't understand why this isn't. Okay, fine. I don't understand. Hang on. Something's popping Discord here on my other machine, and I'm trying to see what's going on here. There we go. Holy smokes. And for those of you that don't know, I pop onto our friend Junie Von Esch's stream, and I'll tune in and listen to some of the things that she's doing. She'll play games and do different crafting things, and I like hanging out for the chat. And every now and again, something is said, something comes up that is goofy, that is fun. I don't know if you noticed, but I have kind of a voice for radio ads and that kind of thing. And as a joke, I will record, literally while she's broadcasting on stream, I'll record something goofy and DM her an MP3 that's 5-10 seconds. And she's doing the same thing to me right now. You find Godot has a problem with a lack of a guide. You have to learn everything on your own from scratch, and things won't work. So here's the thing, Shirsh. Godot was a small project up until middle of 2023 when Unity tanked it, and all of a sudden all this pressure came over where here's Godot that is still growing, trying to figure out where they're going, doesn't have a lot of investment, open source and all the things, and now all of a sudden there's all these folks that are like, why isn't this complete? Why isn't there significant documentation for this? Because nobody was working on it. It was a small project that a group of folks were working on together. So it takes time and investment, and documentation and training costs a lot of money to make. So yeah, it's not there because there's nobody to build it. There's so many people asking about how to learn C#. If there's not already a good list, I'm tempted to make one of those. What activities should be learned no matter the language? Conditionals, looping, formatting. Might I suggest, Code with Sean, check out csharpinthecards.com, because I talk about at least the first couple of those items. I'm going to be recording season 2 in December, and we're going to publish and get a ton of episodes out. So I'll trickle them out over January, February, March, but I'm going to record a ton of material in December. So, yeah, WordPress is doing a bunch. They're putting down the hammer here on trying to get contributions and people paying for WordPress, and it's not a good thing. Doesn't have to be Microsoft focused. So what if it's Microsoft focused? Folks are looking at the .NET Aspire dashboard as a way to organize distributed applications. Folks are looking at that and saying this is this is a pretty valuable resource. It's in a container. They don't care that it's written with C# and Blazor and these things. So if it's running in a container, if it's easy to deploy and it doesn't require me downloading and installing and configuring a bunch of things, that's not a bad thing at all. No, that's not going to be my next project. We could. We could. We could. We could. What did we just say about developers? We could. Build it so you can port your WordPress site to your new Jiffy site secure project. Umbraco is another good one, but it is complex. Wasn't SQL Server CE used on mobile devices way back? Yep, it was. Ed Shrubino dropped 10 years when you shave his beard. Wife and... yeah. Yeah. I run into that too. So. WordPress C# wrapper, there already is. Check out what the...
Chuck Beasley just resubscribed for 25 months.
Appreciate it, Chuck. What is it? The PHP, the Peach Pie project has a C# based wrapper for WordPress. So, should you learn about Unreal Engine 2? It doesn't hurt to learn about it so you know what's out there. Unreal Engine, though, you're going to be coding in C++. You're in a different language. Nothing wrong with that. There are many, many games that are built with C++. However, what folks lean towards and why they like C# for building and working with these engines to build smaller games more productively is they can be more productive. The Unity and Godot game engines, since they're built on the .NET runtime, and .NET runtime is a managed runtime, it takes care of all of the processor management and memory management. So there's a lot of those types of things that you don't have to think about as a developer. That means that you can focus on just building your game and not having to do some of that low-level performance management. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, and you can certainly tweak and tune and get into some of those unsafe constructs with .NET. It's a matter of how productive do you want to be, and how much do you want your runtime to pick up and do for you. So, yeah, it's already out there. You're not bald, your hair just moved to the back. There you go. Nightmare Joker, hello. Just running Peach Pie PHP. There you go. Yeah, all right. See that? I'm catching up here. Nightmare Joker already had the answer for me. This is a Seinfeld episode. Is it? Maybe. All the bugs killed Maratea's hair. Bald is beautiful. Absolutely. Nothing wrong with folks with an exposed scalp. Compile to IL with names and symbols, then decompile to C# or Visual Basic. That's a little crazy. Razor Pages doesn't work for shaving. What? Play it. Oh, here we go. There is an and then command that you can hit there. It is
and then,
there.
And then.
See. You want me to play this? All right. Let me see what we got here from our friend that Junie Von Esch. Let's see what we got here. I haven't listened to these.
And then.
All right, that's The Rock, yeah.
It doesn't matter what you think.
There we go.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
There we go. All right. I like that one.
It doesn't matter what you think.
Yeah. I've also got this one. The WWE lines are going to be coming in hot, I think. I've also got...
Oh, you didn't know?
Yeah, we're not going to get too far into DX because, there's some things there. Thank you, Junie. A lot of times where you've been mad at Visual Studio but really can't get used to another IDE. Facts. I'm with you on that. So I want to migrate, and we're going to talk about some of the features that are in the chatbot that's running over here. I want to get that migrated over to .NET 9, and I finished the basic migration. However, in looking at it and running it, there's things in there that are really old that have broken APIs, broken features that we should discuss and decide, are we going to move this thing forward? Are we going to promote this and make it a valuable part of what we have? Or are we going to shut it down, remove it, and discard it because it's no longer a thing? 1 second here. I just remembered there's things that I had updated here running on Windows that I need to push over to the other machine. So, like, great example, Discover.net is gone. That website is gone. So the APIs that I was using to pull in some of the latest news about .NET from the Discover.net website doesn't work anymore. So if I had tried to use that feature, the bot would have crashed. So it's not a C# card game, Nightmare Joker. It's a training series that uses a deck of cards as its use case. How do you work with a deck of cards? How do you set up and deal cards for a game? Clearly, when you think about playing a game of cards, shuffling cards is a for loop, and you're working with random numbers. Dealing cards is a for loop with a condition. We're going to deal everybody 7 cards. Okay, so I'm going to 1 to 7 for each player that is playing. Give out a card, right? Things like that. So, your daughter is learning C# and these resources will help. Cool. That's great. Oh yeah, the developers track. We've had that for years and years. Chuck, thank you so much for that, for the resub. Learn Microsoft Com has many great tutorials. So, and I've been wrapped up and I've been tied up with a bunch of things. I need to share what's been going on. That's kept me from doing more episodes of the Big Bad Blog. Like, I have a full afternoon today working on .NET Conf Keynote. And I can talk about this now. I've been asked to give a presentation at Microsoft Ignite. So if you're going to Microsoft Ignite in Chicago, 3rd week of November, I will be there. I have a presentation that I'm going to be giving about updating, modernizing your .NET applications. We're building and working on the demos, the scenarios for that today. There's some really good topics that we're going to touch on there. I'm not going to build that demo on stream. However, after Microsoft Ignite, I will give that demo and go through and give that and host that discussion here live on stream late November, at least a week or two after Ignite. The week after Ignite, I'm in New York City. There's events going on there for the Thanksgiving holiday with my daughter that I'll be at. But so it might not be until December, but we'll absolutely go through and talk about and answer all kinds of questions, deep dive into that. I mentioned I'm working on .NET Conf. .NET Conf is the release event for .NET 9, November 12, 13, and 14. I might be on screen a little bit. We're collecting our host team, including I've got somebody there that I'm volunteering for it. This gentleman right here, Mr. Bald Bearded Builder. I'm extending an invite to help with hosting for the event for .NET Conf. It's a fantastic community-focused event where we have the Microsoft program managers out there. We'll be using TagZap, an application we built here live on stream to field your questions, shuffle them over to the program managers, and talk about all the cool things that are going on with .NET in 2024 going into 2025. So I'm working on that. We'll be hosting a what we call a local event. We're going to host an event in January here on this channel. More information as we get closer to it. We've got sponsors and folks that are coming along. We're going to have a long stream where we're going to bring in some guests. We're going to talk about all the cool things that were announced at .NET Conf, talk to some of these experts, some MVPs, some folks that you may know, and have a great time here on stream. You know, when I host events like this, I talk to you. We're not giving presentations. This is interactive. We talk to you. We want to make sure that your voice is heard. We talk to these folks and have a good time learning about what's going on there. So those are the things that I'm working on that are coming up. But in the month of December, we're going to get a whole lot of stuff done. Books are mostly out of date when they publish. Yes. If you go to books for C# or other programming languages or techniques, they're going to be out of date quickly. There's features and things that you're going to be able to pick up and learn, but no. They go out of date very, very quickly. Can it manage your 401k? How about your kid's schedule? That's the runtime you're looking for. Yes, .NET can do all those things. How you doing there, Bald Bearded Builder? Great to see you. Tech space is moving so quickly, books are outdated quickly. Yes, exposed scalp. Oh, that's a thing. It's more aerodynamic. That's right. New features only matter when you know basics and important things. What's the point of learning new things if you can't understand basic things? Well, here's the thing. When new frameworks and new features come out that enhance those basic things and make them easier to do, Link. How much Link do you use in Godot, in Unity? Link's going to change the way you write a for loop. Link's going to change the way you write a while loop. It's a heck of a lot easier to do that, to analyze and work with a collection. So, and it's more performant too. So you may want to use Link. When Link was released, yeah, you got to go learn that, because it makes a big difference in how you interact with collections. So, .NET 9! Kind of. Will it end up in TagZap? Will what end up in TagZap? I'm sorry, Eric, I'm a little bit behind context here. Will some of the features of the bot, I think the other way, I think some of the tags app features might end up in the bot. Is it Devlin84? Just got started with C# coding and building something for Linux and Windows. It's pretty fun. Mostly come from a VB6 and C++, so having fun and learning C#. Hey, that's great. Is it Devlin or is it Devilin? I don't know. But glad to hear that you're enjoying that. A little bit of a C# card game, Nightmare Joker. Yes. Sweet Home Chicago. It's Alabama. Am I at VS Live Orlando? No. The VS Live folks are not too fond of Fritz. So we show up there every now and again, and yeah. The folks that run the event, absolutely. The VS Live leadership, sadly not going to any events in the U.S. anytime soon, says Pyrocat. There's an opportunity for me to get into Stockholm again next year, and I might take that up. Oh, we're almost done here. Link is a game changer. You're right. Fear this. Folks in programming languages that don't have Link, when they see how easy it is to bolt on predicates and work with the collection quickly and easily with now really good performance, yeah, they get jealous and they want to build that in. Devlin, fantastic. I will remember that. Sweet Home Chicago is a great song, made more popular by the Blues Brothers. Yes, you did. I still use the blinky purple jacket on stage. I haven't worn the Blazor jacket in a while. I probably won't wear it for Ignite.
Developers.
Thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. I could. Not gonna lie, I could. I'm not doing any Blazor in my demo. I could wear it at the Ask the Experts booth. Let me think about it, DJ Deepex. We got to regulate how often we break out the jacket there. As is, I've got to figure out which hats I'm going to be wearing. Hats. So, for regular web projects, Link and MoreLink are such a lifesaver. MoreLink? I'm not familiar with MoreLink. A lot of languages have filter map reduce. They do. They're not the same as Link. They're not the same. They try to do similar things, but not quite there. Would be great if I could do a talk in Australia if Microsoft sent me. So the question is getting to NDC Sydney or NDC Melbourne. They would bring me in, and that's out there. Microsoft won't send... Microsoft won't send me to places outside the States because we've got folks that are local to various regions. There's partnering with a customer, with a conference, with something, where then we have justification to get me into those locations. That's when that happens. So getting into Europe is something that I can do with one or two conferences. Be great to be able to meet up with customers and folks while I'm over there. It's getting the justification for traveling for that event. Many years ago, I traveled and spoke at Developer Week Germany. And I was literally 2 days on the ground in, was it Dusseldorf? Like, I flew into Frankfurt, took the train, and 2 days, and late on the second day, took the train back, got on the plane, and flew home. Like, that's hard and expensive. So, yes, JavaScript is bad at functional things due to the legacy cruft. You think I should show up to events dressed as other team members? Like, show up to Ignite with a bald cap, glasses, and a red polo? Yeah, I'm going to go dressed up as Scott Guthrie. Wasn't I in a costume suit sometime earlier this year? I was, and I've got opportunities to do more of that. Yes. Concepts you need to do in order to do a Unity game dev. There's that's an open-ended discussion. There's all kinds of things that you might want to do, you might not want to do. Depends on what you want your game to be able to work with. You may want to reach out and interact with an API, right? With a web-based API. You're going to need to learn to use HTTP client. You want to write to a database so you can save progress. You can interact with a high score scoreboard. Okay, you're going to need to learn how to write those. Different things there that you're going to need to take some time to experience. So that's interesting. Okay, more link. I'll have to take a look at that. I did give a workshop for NDC Melbourne in 2021, but it was all remote, and I delivered it from here. So, you vote for replacing Bootstrap and Blazor templates with Fluent Blazor. There's always discussions about when there's a new version of .NET. There's always discussions about, okay, do we update the templates with XYZ? Fluent Blazor is not a terrible idea, but we'll see. Necessary concepts is once again open-ended. What are you doing with it? If you're literally building Pong, okay, you're building Pong. You don't really need to be able to write and interact with things outside the game. Sure, but if you're building Pong on a device where you want to be able to interact with the gravitational sensor so you know the tilt and things with it, well, now you need to learn how to interact with those libraries. How does that work? How do those things happen, right? As you start to add features, you get out of learn just the basics of the language. There's libraries and tools you want to interact with. So let's start a community project. Does Link allow you to receive a collection as a stream so you can start processing as the data arrives? You're thinking of async enumerable. Yes, absolutely. You can do that. As things arrive, process and return interactions with it. Imagine a simple game with a high score and lives like Flappy Bird. Fine. A high score you're saving to disk somewhere. How do you write to disk? Where are you writing that? So you're either going to write a file somewhere, you're going to write to a database somewhere, because you want to keep a top 10 list. You probably don't need a full database. You could probably do it with just a JSON file on disk, just to make it a little bit more organized. So, right. But do you really want that file sitting on disk to be readable, right? Folks could modify that and put some content in there, and now they can do funny things to your game by injecting content. Now you might want to learn encryption on that. Okay. So, right. Now you need to learn encryption. You see how, as you say, oh, it'd be great if we had feature this, right? We were talking about scope creep earlier. As you start to look at, well, we just need a high score. Well, I want the top 10 high scores. Okay, we're maintaining a list. It's great to maintain a list like that in a file with something like JSON. So how do we work with JSON to read and write documents, insert and manage the order of those things, that collection? Well, now we're managing a collection. Link becomes interesting at that point. So on and so forth. So, right? This is what I'm talking about. You start to see feature creep and you're learning things. And none of these things are bad. And that's why, right, I couch the question with, what would you like to do? And as you start to look at, I want to go add this feature. Go learn a little bit of technology that's going to help you build that feature, and away you go. So, you could cache the collection. You probably want to sync to disk every so often after you update the collection. so that should the game crash, should the machine crash, it's saved and you have it available later. IL to CPP nightmares. No, don't do that. JSON's not good for large data sets. True, Nightmare Joker. However, if you're just talking about a top 10 list for a high score table, it's probably good enough. But for large data sets, 50 meg, 100 meg, it gets a little dicey at that point. Is the role Twitch subscriber on the Discord automated to add or remove people? It is automated. It should automatically pick it up. So, yeah, if you're thinking about just top 10 high score, don't really need to do much with that. The Twitch subscriber role should pick up on its own. Just looking here. Let me see. Where is it? Integrations. Twitch, C# Fritz. Last synced, so it syncs every now and again. Synced yesterday at 2:04 p.m. I'll force the sync right now. There you go. So, there you go. If you're keeping score, you'd also want to keep a personal best, and that means storing everyone's high score. Well, you're starting to see scope creep, right? How many people are playing locally on a machine? At some point, you're going to want to go to a database because there's how much data you're storing. So, right, you're storing something for an arcade machine, a machine that's a stand-up that's going to be sitting in a bar or an arcade somewhere. Maybe you have hundreds of players, thousands of players. You have people sign in somehow. Now you've got to keep track of their sign-ins and their personal bests. Now you start talking about a database at that point to manage that. So, right, but to Nightmare Joker's point here, as that scope grows, the tasks, the skills that you need become more interesting. Local high scores, is this a Nintendo Entertainment System? No, I'm talking about like a stand-up cabinet at a bar somewhere, right? A cabinet at a bar, trivia games at the bar. There's a good example, right? Trivia game at the bar, right? You want to log in, right? Hey, I'm back at the bar. I'm not sitting over at table 2 where I was last week. This week I'm over here at table 5, and get me logged in and keep track of my scores. And maybe there's a profile around me, and we can put a profile picture in there, and that profile picture shows up on the high score screen at the front of the bar, so that the cute lady sitting over there at table 3 sees me and knows what a smart guy I am. Hey, so right, things like that. Yes, now we're starting to see interactions, integrations where database makes sense. So, yep, that's right. On the old game systems, if you turned it off, the high scores went away. It was right. Remember, it was the old Legend of Zelda was the first game with a battery in it, so that it would save your data. Yeah. So, anyways, we want to talk about features and building designing, and tweaking the bot that's here running in the background for this channel. So, you remember how big it was that Sonic 3 had that feature also, right? And it was so expensive to make. Zelda was such a gamble, and it killed. Zelda did so. The Legend of Zelda, the first Legend of Zelda with the gold cartridge. Beautiful cartridge. And it's weird to say that about a game cartridge. Let me tell you, it was just a rectangle with the weird angle cut off on the bottom. So much investment and innovation that went into just building how we deliver a game. And when you open up the cartridge, it was just a chip inside with a battery on it. Like, it was like engraving in stone. Yes. But it paid off, right? And now here we are, what, a dozen Legend of Zelda games later? And yeah, each new game almost redefines the role-playing game genre. It's really, really great stuff. How they saved the map for Zelda in memory was cool. I've never seen that. There's a great YouTube video on it. I have to check that out. That's something that I would be interested in, right? Some of the techniques that folks would do, right, on these older games to save, to persist data like that, and get it to load and read properly when we're talking about only having kilobytes of memory on a cartridge. Right? Like, how do you store all of those maps for Legend of Zelda to save a few bytes of memory, right? Like, we know they did all kinds of things with mapping the sprites, the images, so they had one really big map, and they only showed a part of that map at a time. They had one really big image. Maybe it might have been a couple really big images, and they only showed a small number of those images at a time on screen. They just took that one image and shifted it around. You were only seeing parts of that large image that was mashed together. And, right, that's how they animated Link. That's how they animated your character. There was one image that had all the frames for Link, and it would move to the next spot and show another location on that larger image. Really, really interesting stuff. Yeah. Imagine in the Stone Age, someone is the tester, tries the plant falls over and is in pain. Yeah. How you doing, McNets? Hello. The Diablo map generator is a work of art, randomized layout. It is. There's some really cool stuff that Diablo does underneath the hood. Building and managing and delivering that game. Yeah. Yeah. All right. There's something where one of the dungeons is in a specific shape because it literally shares space with another part of the map. Was that the last dungeon? Might have been. Because it's in the shape of a skull. The last map, because it's supposed to be underneath the mountain where you go to. Yeah, that sounds like an interesting documentary to catch up on. We're not confined by memory and image size when we're building this chatbot that we're using. We're over here tweaking, tuning, and we're going to add features. We're going to talk about the design. Some of the things we want to add, some of the things that are in there, some of the things we want to remove on this. Let's dig into it. Dr. Cox with a question. Do I have any more hints to find it? Maybe the video link. Yeah, I'd love to find that, Ed, and catch up on it. Couldn't find it, Dr. Cox? Okay. What other hobbies do I have? Do I have a home theater or anything waiting for a 110-inch floor-rising screen to arrive? I don't have a home theater. I'm very much into sports. I enjoy going and watching sports. I'll be traveling to West Virginia this weekend. I'll be attending the college football game there. My daughter's in the marching band. She spins a flag with their color guard, and they call it the coal rush game. West Virginia is a coal producing part of the country, so everything is black and white. This gray. This is the coal rush theme hat. But the players will be wearing. They normally wear blue and yellow. They'll be wearing all black uniforms, black helmets with a white logo on the side. Looks sharp. So they're and they started doing this a few years ago as a tribute to to some folks, miners that were in a deadly collapse. So it's going to be a great experience. Saturday night, playing against those Iowa State Cyclones, the Fighting Cyclones. Good friend is a graduate of Iowa State, so we're having that friendly rivalry discussion this week. Oh, you found it, Ed? Very cool. Yeah. You can drop that in chat, or you can drop it in Discord, whatever. So, cool. Thank you. Yeah, let me know. Coal is subsidized or self-affordable. Folks can afford coal. Yeah. Coal's pretty cheap in the States. Yeah, baseball caps are quite popular in London, and I got 2 more the other night. Turns out neither one of them looks really good on camera with the green screen. So I'll be adding them to the collection and wearing them, but I can't wear them on stream because they disappear on the green screen. So, all right, let's move in. Let's head over and talk about code. I've only got about an hour now before I have to get to .NET Conf keynote discussion. Productivity equals 0. Yeah. Is that the name of? Is that the name of it? What do we got here? Yeah.
And knowing is half the battle.
And see, we need to update that. It's got the wrong names coming in there, darn it. And it'd be great to be able to upload and do the whole hat process with the bot. There's so much there that would be great to do. And that's what we want to plan out and talk through today. Yeah. Ah, that's the link. Okay. Retro game mechanics explained. Very cool. All right. Yeah, we'll have to take a look at that. Okay. How's my daughter doing in college? Doing fantastic. They're both of them are doing very well. Thank you for asking. Is Disco Elysium also made in Unity? I don't know. Stop using the buddy machine. Well, no, I'm talking to you.
You can do it!
I can hit the buttons all I want, but I think it's also more fun to allow you to do it as well, where it seems appropriate, right?
Right.
Okay, I'm glad we agree. So, Disco Elysium's built with Unity? All right. All right. I haven't bought any of the new Stream Decks. The last one I have is the Stream Deck XL, and it's from a couple years ago. So, is it that time? I think it is that time to actually get in and start writing some code over here and trying to get a little bit productive. You know what I'm saying? Like productivity on this stream? What? Yeah, let's head over there and make it happen. Right? It might be dangerous.
Wait, Master.
See? It might.
It might be dangerous.
It might. It's not. It's Linux. And we're okay with that. Let's head over there and take a look-see. So, I'm going to grab that video, Ed. Thank you. With the map discussion. I have seen this channel before. Yeah. Very cool. All right. Here we are. See, look, it's a command line. It's dangerous. That's how you know it's dangerous, because it's a command line. Right? That's totally a thing. I think. And I have VS Code over here with the stuff that we were working on. So here's the deal, right? Let me run this, and we can just take a peek into where we left off with this, right? And this is like code archaeology. Like, what all did we have in here? Let me show you. So, Robert Tables. It's a politely request line. It's a command line. That's right. It's not a politely request. You command it. Look at that. We're already having problems here. What did I do? What? Yeah, I know. It's... What did I do? What did I do? Is it running here in the footer? Still from last time? It is. Aha! So if I go back over here and we try and run that John again. Yeah, no, we're not getting in. All right. And it probably ran locally because I've got the command sitting in user secrets. Because I don't have the tokens. All right, so here's our first problem. We don't have tokens to connect out to Twitch. Nah, not expired. But not even loaded on this machine. And that's okay. We can go generate some new tokens and move them over. But even then, like, there's features and things in here that I wanted to show you that, man, we're missing. Tell you what, I'm just going to run it on Windows for a second, because I can. And we can take a look at that version of it. Nope, not that. And then we can get it loaded up. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I'm looking for. Man, back in the day, the things that we had to build to run on this stream. Let me tell you. Boom, there it is. Is paying for the ad-free Twitch worth it? It is across all of Twitch, yes. So. So, look at that, 2024. No, it's not built in 2024. That's just the last time I compiled it. This app will go and return and report. Here's the current viewers. I don't know what the T is supposed to be, but it's not connecting out to Twitch and pulling data right now. The current number of followers. Set up a follower goal gauge and be able to pass in parameters to configure it with different syntax on this little widget and be able to place that. This is open source. It is available out there on GitHub, C# Fritz. That's not Fritz. Stream tools. There we go. So, there we go. No, I don't think... I don't remember what that is. We can go dig it up and see what it is. So. Yeah, if you only watch a couple hours a week, probably not worth it for you to do it. But if you are watching a lot of Twitch, probably worth it. Across multiple streamers, too. I don't use any of these widgets anymore, and there was a GitHub contributors bit here where it would report we generated a crawl, right? A crawl that would sit at the bottom of the screen and show you here's the folks that have contributed to the project, right? That was an old feature we had on stream. I don't do any of this stuff anymore. None of it, right? Because we've dramatically simplified. I went back and looked at an older video from the stream. We had the sentiment analysis of every chat message. We had crawls going by that showed people's contributing. All kinds of widgets and stuff that were showing how people were interacting. And it was so much stuff on screen at once that it was quite overwhelming, to be frank. And there's definitely a trend over the last few years to get down to something simple. The stuff that you're going to put over the screen, right? I've got just a couple promotion things here about, hey, look, you can find me on all these different services. I'm C# Fritz. Sure. It wasn't that it was too much data to use. It was that we were throwing so much data around the screen for people to consume. And it was a lot for folks to look at and understand what's going on. You know what I mean? Would folks be interested in seeing things like Pirate Software does something that I really like, where he takes a bit of what we do with TagZap and queuing up messages and puts them into a message queue, and he pauses. I mean, when you've got 12,000 people watching you, it's easy to say we got to pause. But pauses and takes those questions. But when he takes those questions, they're being read by text-to-speech. That's cool. That's something we could build. I like the idea of being able to queue up messages using something like what we built with TagZap. But we're getting into the discussing new features, right? Do we want that? And listing, here's how many messages are in the queue. So, hey, silly goose. Sometimes chaos is fun and sometimes chaos is chaos. Totally agree. And let's measure and decide how much we want. I don't think showing GitHub pull requests the number of pull requests and contributions that folks have made to a project is something that we necessarily want to put on screen. I'm not sold on that. Maybe there's some other way for folks to participate with the stream, and we want to put some of that content on screen. Okay. Or right, there's other folks that have built games that run in their chat on stream, and it might make sense to put some of that content on screen for them. Sure. I don't have anything like that right now. You've often taught that .NET Conf should have a repo and every year developers can contribute. There is. There is. GitHub.com/.NETConf. There is. You can go to last year's and you can see all the artwork that we used. The slide templates. You can see all the digital swag that we made available. Wallpapers for desktop, phone, and watch. And all of the sessions, all of the slides, all of the code links. Links out to the video out there. It's all available. It's available for the last, 6-7 years? Is all out there. GitHub.com/.NETConf. An application. So you're touching into an interesting place that I've been thinking about juggling we've tried to run an educational hackathon for folks in schools over the past few years. And it's hard to coordinate, and it's hard to get folks all on the same task. But to put out and coordinate some sort of a hackathon on an altruistic application, and this is something that Humanitarian Toolbox tried to do, encourage folks to contribute and build something together. The folks that are serving as project managers need to spend a lot of time coordinating that. And there's no benefit for those folks doing that for something that is altruistic like that. I could see doing a hackathon with requirements and allowing folks to go off and build something, and hey, use .NET 9 with requirements of you need to build an application that does X, Y, and Z, submit, and we'll do prizes at the end. Sure, we've tried to do that type of hackathon in the past, but it's still tricky to manage. So, as an ongoing thing, yeah, no, that's what Humanitarian Toolbox tried to do, and it did not go over well. Folks lost interest quickly, and there were some folks that swept in and said, we don't need to do basic so-and-so, we need to do advanced CQRS architecture with mediator and all the things. And when beginner folk would take a look at the project, it was really hard to follow and understand because there was very little documentation of what it was doing, how it was doing, and interacting with it. And to pick up and run with it with an advanced architecture like that was very confusing, and it turned off people immediately. So, if the goal to build a project is to get as many people to contribute as possible, advanced architectures are out the window. Unfortunately, and this happened with the old Core Wiki project here. Oh, let's do it with CQRS. And we made it too complex too quickly. You love speaking at .NET Conf this year. I know the focus was AI and Aspire, but I felt semantic kernel. Azure AI was too early stages to speak confidently about. Yes, I completely agree with you about that. And having some of the subject matter experts on those topics present on that is a desire. Getting lost in the first steps makes people want to give up doing .NET. Exactly. We want to make sure that there's an easy on-ramp that folks are comfortable and excited about. So, hey, 4V, hello. Welcome. So, I think I want to remove these widgets that are part of this. Frank with the resub.
Buchero's just resubscribed for 37 months. Nice Linux mode.
Hello. So, if I wanted to put together an application that made it easy for folks to contribute, and if we do think about building a WordPress competitor with .NET that gets packaged as a container as a next project to do on stream, very doable, very demure, very polite, very nice, very easy to get on board and participate in. I would love to make that type of thing available for folks to be able to contribute to. Right? And have a great API for extensions to be able to be built and loaded into. There already are some in .NET, and they are a dime a dozen. Completely agree, and many of them are very complex to set up and get running. As an amateur... I missed it. Scrolled off screen. As an amateur wiki contributor back in the day of muxes and mushes, simple is best. Then again, when it went advanced, I tapped out above the pay grade. That's just it. I want to make sure that it doesn't get advanced quickly. No, don't call it WordPress.net. Orchard.net Nuke. Yeah. Octane. Yeah. There's a bunch of them out there. No doubt. might be a good opportunity to build something fun on stream. So looking at the features that we have here, what we want to add, what we want to tweak, what we want to tune. You'd love to have those tools in .NET. See, now you've got me thinking, do we pivot this stream right here, right now, and start building a content management system with .NET? Do it with a static site generator or with Blazor now that it can write HTML streams? Yes. Well, we could generate static sites, or we could do server-side rendering with extensive output caching. CMS with a wiki. Hey there, Thai TV. Do a little bit of .NET Aspire to help build and develop it. All right, we're going to pivot. We're going to pivot. Hang on, we're going to turn this boat. We're going to turn this boat. No, clear. Fritz can't type. That's what a great developer is. He can't type. All right, where was I? Down here. No, we're going to close out of VS Code. Let's go up to... Yep, pivot! I need the pivot sound now. Oh, man. A trading app with .NET. You have an idea there. And then we'll make this available, and we'll do some interesting things here, to be sure. Is Aspire stickily linked with Orleans? No, it is not. You can use Akka, certainly. Fluent UI Test Bench, I could get on board with that, Genga. Yes. If I can type amazing, you probably spend too much time typing and not enough time thinking, ooh, PyroCat, I like that. That's some insight there. 4V started C# yesterday, so you're advancing in it? Well, we're going to get in at the basics here and go through and start trying to figure this thing out. Let's do this. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go over to the stream organization. Did you know we have a stream organization? Silence! Silence! I kill you. Welcome. Right? It's a whatever. There is a Fritz and Friends organization on the hub of all things Git. Bet you didn't know that was out there. Let's create a repository. Select an organization. No. I don't want a template. Goodbye. This is going to be. I want to use Blazor to generate and deliver the CMS so that we learn a little bit of Blazor. We'll use a little bit of Aspire to organize and run it locally. That's exactly what you heard in your head. Blaze Press? No. Is it copilot.bing.com? No. I want... Okay, see. That... Who did this? Like, dude. When I was able to just type chat.bing.com and get there, like, that's what I want. Like, www.bing.com/chat. Shut up. Like, come on. Can we... I don't have my microphone hooked up here, so I'm not going to be able to dictate it. I want to build a CMS with .NET and Blazor that is open source, runs in a container and anyone can use. Suggest 10 names for this software project. This is one of the things that I love using AI for. Generate a bunch of stuff for me. Magic the Gathering, C# in the cards? No. Although I do enjoy Magic the Gathering. I haven't played in a while. Yeah, use C and C#. Think to be successful? Cool. Never finished CMS. Well, they all are. What do we got here? Blazor CMS, lame. Blazor Box, lame. NetBlaze CMS, lame, lame. Blazor Hub, lame. Blazor Craft, Blazor Sphere, no. Sure, continue. Don't use the Blazor product name and give me 10 more. Net CMS, Core CMS, Fusion CMS. Stop calling it CMS. Don't use CMS. Use a synonym for content management system and give me 20 more. Only Blazor fans. Now cut that out. Yes, MTG Arena is built with Unity. B-Stream, that's not bad. Net Content, Core Manager, Fusion Content, Flexi Content. Why Fusion? Blazing Publisher. B-Stream isn't bad. NetPress is not bad. TINW, this is not WordPress. The Riz. What? Adobe is calling. Blazing Coders. Sharp Sight. Hang on. I like that one. Sharp Sight? I like a name like Sharp Sight. Can you give me 20 samples inspired by this name? See if we can iterate on it and get something. What do we got? Edge Sight, Keen Web, Acuity Sight, Focus Web, Clearview. Clearview? That's already something else. Precision Web, Insight Sight, Sharp View, Clarity Web. No. 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 I like Sharp Sight. Do you like Sharp Sight? Sounds like blogging from the Channel 9 team built in it. Let's call this Sharp Sight. Let's run with that. I like that. And then we can, right, create different project names off of that. A basic CMS built with .NET 9 and Blazor. This is public. Add a README. We'll take a git ignore that's based on... I don't like that it's Visual Studio. I wish it was like .NET or C#, but it's Visual Studio. Like, MIT. So, all right, Sharp site. There you go. So, GitHub, Fritz and Friends, Sharp site. You can find where I'm going to start working here. I'm going to grab and I'm going to fork from here so that I have my own copy. Yeah, that's fine. Because I'm not going to work directly in the repository. I'm going to create my own pull request to send something over. Sharp site that'll make you C#? No. Right? So, here, I like Sharp site because there's several different things that that it insinuates and references without coming right out and saying it. Built with C#. Built by C# Fritz. You're building a website. You're going to generate a sharp-looking site, a nice-looking website. There's options and things that happen there that become very, right, kind of just below the surface references, and I like that. Clippy CMS. No, cut that out. Duke us off with the link. Thank you so much for hooking that up. Wasn't there a project as a CMS? Yes, Core Wiki got out of control, way down on an architecture. We were talking about this earlier. No. In fact, I should delete and knock that thing off. So, okay. Let me now clone and put this down locally. And I'm not even going to .NET new here yet. Right? Git clone. Oh, I forgot it doesn't do the, why does it put these extra symbols on this? That's so annoying. You know, there we go. But I think we can do some interesting things here. I think we can do some interesting things here to make it easy for folks to contribute and customize and build their own sites on top of this. Something that's always been a little bit of a goal of mine, even going back into the late 90s, was to build an Etsy-like website. If you could pick this thing off and run a storefront with it, and do your own customization easily at some point down the line, that'd be really cool. That'd be really cool. Okay. Thanks for the suggestions there. I didn't ask for it. Let's take a quick look here. Holy smokes! Are you kidding me? They want $2,500 for that. No. Don't want to get the IO. Developers. Only one per customer. Hey, Sid. Sidoso fan. Hello. Welcome. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Yeah, there's folks dropping me messages on Discord. Yeah, right? The domains are out of control. Totally. DRAM tightening... no. Not off the top of my head. IO is going to have a problem. Sharpsite.fart? No. Sharpsite.site. Well, at that point, why not sharp.site? Holy crow! Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You want $250,000 for sharp.net. You want $45,000 for Sharp.ai. Are you kidding me? No. We're just going to back right out of that, thank you. We're just going to back right out of that. $2,500 for sharpsite.com. No. Sharpsite.site. No. Sharpsite.org as the base is... That's not too bad. Sure. Sharpsite.online is not bad. Sharpsite.site, no. Sharpsite.wiki, maybe. .net is ridiculous, but .org as a home for the website. .lol. Hey, look at that. .lol. I'm going to grab the .org. No. All right. Now I need to go off screen. While I get all signed in and paid up on this stuff. I don't think I typed that correctly. Ah, come on now. I need... come on. Pardon me for a second while we try and get the domain name locked down here. What? Yeah. Of course. And a two-factor authentication. No, not getting that. Why is it whenever I start... This is how domain names proliferate and just go everywhere, and we end up with a mess. But if I'm going to do this, I want to make sure that this is a application that we're going to get into building that is going to be... Now, wait a sec. That's only 3 months. Why are you only giving me 3 months? Oh, no. Oh, okay, different product. Yep, domain name registration. No, I'm not buying $2,500 of domain names right now. No. I'm not even going to route it anywhere. I'm just reserving it. Yeah.
developers.
Thank you for the follow. We are buying a domain name. Stand by. I believe that's that password. One second. Oh, are you kidding? Oh, I really, really am frustrated with... Okay, over here, and this, and that. That's what I thought it was. Uh-oh. I'm bouncing back and forth on keyboards and confusing myself. And now I gotta do two-factor authentication. And that is... Why is it so darn hard to... Got it. All right. Sharpsite.org we have. I'm not going to do anything with it yet, but we've got it. All right. Sharpie.net? No. Pricing is outrageous. SSL wildcards? No. Hey, Jean Valjean. Sharp-site.com. All right. Back over to the code. Let's start this. Yeah, I have the .org. Yep. Sharpsite.org. Yep, I've got the email. Yeah, sharpsite.org we've got. So, okay. So, and I've got my repository cloned locally here in Sharpsite. There we go. So we can start defining and building out what this, right? The idea here is we're going to build a little, I don't plan to do Azure. I plan to do containers. So that you can deploy this anywhere you want. And I plan to do this with a plug-in model, with a custom coding model, so that less technical folks that may want to get in and tweak and tune some things can customize things as well. I think, right, let's write down some of this, right? Like, this is good stuff. Right, when I think about making an application framework, a content management framework that's accessible for other folks to be able to work with, right? Let's not call this a basic CMS. And let's call this an accessible CMS built with .NET and Blazor. That you are free to use. We want to make a content management system that anyone can customize easily and adapt to meet their website needs. We think that anyone should be able to customize as little or much as they would like with simple HTML, Markdown, C# or Blazor code. Yeah. Developers. I think that makes sense. An extensible CMS. Plugins and themes are huge, and to be able to allow those types of interactions, you're right, are important. Initial, not even want to say initial planned features. Features we would like to build. Yes, Blazor components. Yep. Yeah, 404 not found. Yeah. To make it easy for folks to customize, we project that we will build the following high-level features. Now, while I might be building this live on stream, this is open source. It's MIT licensed. After we discuss and figure out here's some of the high-level features we're looking for, and I start putting out that an initial framework, let's talk about here's what an initial feature set is, and you out there are welcome to grab it. We'll put some issues in the repository to grab an issue, say, hey, I'd like to work on this, write some code and send in a pull request, and we'll talk about it next time. All right? So let's start talking. We of course, we're going to need some level of authentication and authorization, right? Because we're going to have owners, editors, authors that are contributing content. Right, we're going to want theming, content creation, like blog posts. Let's start with the blog post model. Content versioning. Output caching. I might have given a number of presentations recently about how to take your Blazor application and make it suitable for facing the external web. Shippable in a Docker container. Extensible, an extension model. Yeah, I think. No, actually, Sean, I saw your message and went from there. So, emails, that's an extension in my mind. AI chat. Tiny small website, SMB businesses. Don't know yet. Let's get some initial features, but I think all of those are good. Localization, sure. That's a great idea.
Developers.
You're right, Codebase. So I think integrations like payments, I think that fits into the extension model. Billy, yeah. Future extensions we would like to support. Email, mailing list management, payments, right? I think email notifications coming off of here is something. Right? ClamAV fitting in at some point. Search, that's a pretty good one. Is that a base feature? Maybe. Table generator, so basic form management. That's a, what the heck is that? Database table with CRUD screens that can be customized. This feels very SharePoint. WordPress import wizard. Support is missing a P. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Tagging, right? Categories. RSS generation. Sitemap generation. Okay. I don't know about flexible databases just yet. That feels like it might be a jump off. Let's say multiple database support. Like there's an API and a model there, but I don't want to go too far off the deep end into that right off the top. Content scheduling. Social media integration. I don't know what that means. User management. Let's put that up here with this one. Like, those are a lot of features. Exporting content, totally. Static site generation. Theming's already on the list up there. Okay. Web ring component. Mobile app management. Mobile app for editing and for editing. Just start there. We can, like, there's a ton of great ideas here. We need to pare them back and figure out what is version 0.1. Right? Initial feature ideas. Okay. Over here. Oh, come on now. Yes, contribute. Open the pull request. All right. So there's some of the ideas that we had talked about right there. Version 01, hello world. Totally. But I don't want to go deep on complex architectures. Okay? No, I'm going to invite... This is a public site. Public. Anybody can fork it and contribute. Will I upload this? We're already on YouTube right now. The question is, do we isolate down and present short segments that summarize this thing? Oh, I'm out of coffee. Let's start simple. Okay. Let's... Clippy integration. Oh, if I got ideas for you. Initial homepage. The first homepage should show a collection of 10 most recent posts with the most recent first. The page should allow users should be allowed to browse to other pages of 10 articles, 10 posts. Okay. Each post should show an initial summary of content with an optional image. The title of the post should navigate to that post's page. Right? Post object. A post should be stored in the data store. I'm not even going to call it a database. With the following fields. All right. So a post has a title, a publish date, right? It has it has the content. I'm not even going to include authors at this point. I'm not even going to include categories or tags. Let's just get posts out on a screen. Okay. Content can be markdown formatted. No, I'm not even going to do. I'm going to do markdown as a. Oops. As a separate feature. Create post page. User should be able to create a post on a web page. Edit post page. See where I'm going here? User should be able to edit a post on a web page. Post should support Markdown. Developers. Violence and Pepper. Hey, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. MVP first. Not even going to talk about authentication and that information. MVP. Minimum viable. Nope. Not doing admin. You're building security and users and all that stuff. Nope. Not even going to go there. Let's just get a page. I'm not even going to let you customize the site yet. Right? Like, those are other future features. Like, no. I don't even want a table. Yeah, give me a board. Sure. Sharp site, community planning. I don't know. That sounds good. Create it. No. I don't want project updates. Oh, fine. This isn't what I wanted. Because, yeah, no. No. Ew. No. Come here. Fine, we'll do this as milestones. No, I want to create a milestone. 0.1. Minimum viable. Let's get an initial site running with content that we can edit. Not even going to talk about publishing, sharing stuff, making it available yet. Just an initial site. Yeah, CI/CD, unit tests, all things to kick out there and figure out what to do, and certainly add into this. Establish GitHub actions to build and test let's just say to build and test SharpSite, right? So, and we'll probably want to put into contributing doc that new features must be covered with unit tests. I'm game to use Fluent UI. Part of me thinks that using Bootstrap would be nice to use because then it becomes very easy for folks to theme. But honestly, I think pulling back and using even our own base CSS layout so that theming becomes, okay, this is something you have to snap to. Right, see, there's all these different frameworks. Right. There's an interesting theming problem that goes there. Right? I'm not even going to start describing V2 of this. And I'm just about out of time here. So here's what I'm going to do to get us pointed in the right direction to get started. And I didn't turn on... I'll turn on the keyboard cam. Ta-da! Keyboard. Let's do a .NET new. Give me the list. Why is it like sticking? I don't want necessarily the Aspire. Well, like, we could do the Aspire starter, and then just start ripping things out of it. And the reason to use .NET Aspire then is it becomes very easy for anybody to jump in and just say .NET run and it goes. So VS Code's already pointing to this folder, so it should pick up and start showing me some of those things. Thank you. I don't need an API service. Developers. Thank you, Cosmic Voids. Welcome in. I'm just going to delete that API service altogether. Just gone. Which means... down in here. This doesn't exist. Yeah. And this is still .NET 8. We'll get you rolled over because we want to run .NET 9 for all the things. Oh, Billy, no. 9.0. Come here, scroll that up. There we go. .0 star. Okay. Back over here to program. We don't have API service anymore, so we can yank that. That doesn't exist, so we can yank that. Now, the .NET Aspire configuration here, we're not actually going to We're not actually going to use this to deploy, but we're going to use it to help us build locally. What don't you like? Yeah, look at all that. That's not fun. That's not fun at all. No, I don't want to ask Copilot to do something. Give me the app host. What? Yeah, I know. Rebuild. Well, restore first. 10 seconds in on the restore. Nothing. What? 20 seconds failed. Preview 3 is package type .NET platform that is incompatible. No. Okay. Then I guess we need to make this. I need to go back. Let's just undo. Right? System text JSON. So we need to upgrade system text JSON. Fine. .NET add package system text JSON. And that's, wow, they're early. Yeah, 805, there we go. So that's referenced in there, that's fine. So app host is fine. This one, project reference. Right, this is the website. I'm going to just push that straight to 9. Save it. Service defaults is the other one that I want to touch up here. Push this to .NET 9. I think we need to leave those where they are. Sharp site, app host. And if we .NET run, we should get the application here. Yep, remove the API project. Yep, log into the dashboard at here. Yes, I know. I know. And I did that. My bad. My bad. Try this one more time. But we need to do launch profile HTTP. There it is. And there's the website. There it is running. All right, so we have the base default template stuff. Weather doesn't go anywhere. Counter is just doing counter things. I think isn't this server interactive? Yeah, it's interactive server. And I don't want server interactive for this. I think we want to do central package management. Yeah, we should get that logged in as well. But I need to get running. Yep, we need to get the Linux dev certs installed. Totally agree. But I do need to run. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to park what we have at this point. Right? No, that's not Git. And we will iterate and make this our own and grow it. Oh, look at that. Rejoin failed. Tell me I have a pull request waiting. You're not going to do that. Yes, contribute. Pull request. Alright, so we've got somewhere to go work now and make this real. So there's nothing to it yet, but we have a base. Yeah, we're parking, basically. We're parking what we have here. But central package management is something that we should put in here. And let's put that on 01. Make that easy to do. These are all issues out here. Honestly, I'm going to mark them all with the good first issue here. Anybody's welcome to take them. Ask, hey, assign me to this. I'll work on this thing. Honestly, you know what? Let me take the post object. Let me take that back. Because there's a whole repository object interaction here that I think I would like to... I'm going to mark this for me. But let me start building that and we'll get further into this. We'll talk about this more on the Discord. But I gotta go. I've got to get to a meeting talking about building the things for .NET Conf. We're getting ready for recording our keynote. Getting that all set up and ready to go so that things are in great shape. I need to run. Thank you so much. I will be back. I'm not going to be back tomorrow. I've got to take a car in to get some service in the morning. I'll be hanging out on Discord. We can talk more about this there as we grow and we kick off a new project, Sharp Site. I want to make this very easy for anybody to contribute, and we're going to focus on using Blazor and Markdown and allow folks to contribute and use various CSS theming. All right? Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to have a lot of fun building this, I know, in the days and weeks and months ahead. Let me see who else is streaming on the big Twitch TV network that I can get you connected to. If you're watching on YouTube, I've got tons of great videos available for you here. Replays from other sessions. Make sure you check them out. But for now, I'm going to get you connected. He was here. I'm going to get you connected over to our friend, the Bald Bearded Builder. Here comes the raid call. There it is, my lord. So let's go join. He is bald, and he is the Bald Bearded Builder. Thank you so much for joining us. I'll be back. I'll try to be back Monday. Let's see if we can do a Monday morning stream next week. All right, as we build and try and make this into a thing. Okay, have a fantastic rest of your day wherever you might be. Hang out in the Discord. We'll be talking about this over the next few days and building one or two features offline. All right, get ready to say hi to my friend the Bald Bearded Builder, and I will see you Monday. Take care.